Hello, Michiel. You come from New Zealand. Your hometown is Christchurch. What can you tell us about the place?
Christchurch is the biggest city on the South Island. It has a population between 400 to 500,000 people. It was settled by the English and is in the middle of the island on the Canterbury Plains. It's recently suffered a series of large earthquakes, and they tend to have two or three every day. Since the first one a couple of years ago, they've had about 4 to 5,000, I think. But it's a lovely place, and people are making lives again, so it's great.
When you say Kiwi, a number of things can be understood.
That's true. Kiwi can mean three things. It can mean a bird, which is a small brown flightless bird with a long nose with nostrils at the end, which goes out in the dark and searches for food. It can mean a kiwi fruit, which is the small brown fuzzy thing, which is the green insides. And there's also a golden one, which is only grown in New Zealand. And it can also mean a kiwi as a person who comes from New Zealand. We're all referred to as Kiwis.
Can you tell us more about the two islands?
New Zealand as a whole is called Aotearoa in the Māori language, which means land of the long white cloud. It's made up of two major islands, the North Island and the South Island. It also has a third island called Stewart Island, which is a tiny wee one at the bottom. The Maori legend goes, which is the legend of the people who were there before the Europeans came, that the South Island is the canoe of Maui, and he fished up to North Island. It was a giant fish with a jawbone from his grandmother, and then his brothers hacked it apart, and that became the North Island and the mountains and things like that. It's an interesting story, but they're beautiful islands. The North Island is most populated. It's got 2/3 of New Zealand's population, and the South Island is the biggest, but it has only 1 million people. It's got the Southern Alps, much like Germany's got Alps. It's got lakes and rivers. It's beautiful. The North Island's got active volcanoes and a number of big rivers, and it's just a wonderful place.
You have been in Germany for almost 3 months now. Have you got the feeling that things are very different here from New Zealand? After all, there's hardly a place in the world which is further away from your home than Central Europe.
I think things in Europe are very different, but they're also very the same. New Zealand was settled by the English, which obviously is very close to Germany. The Bavarians seem to have a similar culture to the Kiwis, very laid back, very happy. They have similar words. You have bastio and we have sweet as. But there are differences too. Europe's big. You've got lots of people. We have 4 million people in a country the size of Germany, and you have something like 84 million people. So there's definitely differences around size and infrastructure and things like that.
How would you describe the relationship between Australians and New Zealanders?
It's a friendly rivalry. It's big brother versus little brother. It might even be similar to Austria versus Germany, maybe. But we always like beating them in sport. We are good friends. We're mates, so to speak. That sort of developed during the First World War when we fought together as Anzacs against the Turks. But no, we're good friends and we like to beat each other at friendly games.
What can you tell us about traditions and culture in New Zealand? We know, for example, that Kiwis are keen rugby players and enjoy barbecues like the Aussies.
Not only are we keen rugby players, we're better rugby players than the Aussies because we're world champs, so that's what's really great. And we do enjoy barbies, though unlike the Aussies, we don't say, "Would you put another shrimp on the barbie, mate?" But no, we enjoy barbecues and having cold beers in the summer, and we're good at rugby, and we do play a little football, but we're pretty bad at football in terms of we're nowhere near as good as the Germans. But no, it's good to be a Kiwi.
Thank you.